Donald Trump.
USA, USA, make America great, great again.
Donald Trump.
Donald Trumm, Donald Trump cho nhiệm kỳ này.
Donald Trump.
Ngày 3 tháng.
Video, and this video we're gonna be talking about Asians. My phone fell down. Poor Trump. And we started the video with the beginning with the Vietnamese song, like the Cubans have their song, and we vote for Donald Trump. Well, let me tell you, the Vietnamese people also have their song for Donald Trump, and I just wanted you guys to hear it. I know that you maybe guys some part you don't understand. It's like a half Vietnamese, half English kind of thing, but but I thought it was funny, okay, and I just wanted to show it to you. Please don't forget, stay towards the end because I prepared you a really good video. You're gonna love this one. And don't forget giving a like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps my channel to grow, help us to support liberal media, for liberal media can grow. And you guys, the ones that are subscribed, you guys are the real VIP, okay? You guys are the real VIP, and I love you guys for that, okay?
So word on the street is they're only deporting Hispanics. Here's a video to prove otherwise.
What's your name, sir? Say your name. Say your name. Are you from here? Oh my God, they're just taking this man, dude. I say yeah. Dude, you guys. This is so scary, you guys. Poor man, dude. Like, so many people are dead.
Now, as y'all saw, that guy was obviously not Hispanic. He was Asian, and it seems he was getting deported. What do you guys think about this?
Left till I report to ICE for my deportation. I got a letter in the mail from ICE to come in on June 5th to remove my ankle monitor. They randomly called me in 2 days before to come in for a case interview. I complied, and as soon as I went in, they handcuffed me, threw me against the wall, grabbed all my stuff from my pockets, threw it on the floor, and they put all my stuff in a bag. They told me I have no appeals pending, my case is over, and I'm being deported. However, I did remind them that I was under the Zepeda case. They left me in handcuffs for about an hour to verify if that was true. After confirmation, they told me to come back on the 12th, which is in 4 days. The past few days, it has been really stressful. I recently found out that my wife is pregnant. And amidst all the craziness and the chaos, I gotta say this is good news. But then I start thinking, like, I won't be there for my wife. I won't be there to hold my baby when he or she is born. So when I think about stuff like that, it really makes me sad. My new family is being torn apart before it has even had a chance to begin. We will be calling the governor's office tomorrow, emailing them, calling them, commenting on their page. I really thank you guys that have been supporting me and my wife since day one. But I know regardless of what happens, I know it's gonna be alright.
TikTok, they are now deporting Asians. Please, y'all, stay at home. It's just not one group of people now, and it's never just been one group of people, by the way. It's not just dark-skinned people like Africans, Jamaicans, Caribbeans, and then they moved on to Latinos and Mexicans. It's now Asians.
I've been hearing about other minorities asking Black people to show up and protest against ICE. Ask the Asians instead. Our shit's already being rocked. The working class ones are going to be targeted by ICE just like the Latino community. Hell, a bunch of us are already being deported and often to the wrong country. And then as for the richer ones, Trump has already banned all Chinese students from coming to the US to study, and has banned all international students from coming to Harvard, which affects a whole lot of Asian international students. So anybody who looks Chinese, even if they're a US citizen, is going to be affected by this. He's put several South Asian countries on the travel ban list. So yeah, brown Asians are going to be affected too. Anyway, our voting numbers look very similar to Latinos. Just over half of us voted for Kamala and the rest went for Trump. We couldn't just fucking listen to Black people when they told us to vote for the Black lady who wasn't going to take all our civil rights away. And now we want them to come save our asses when they're getting whooped? Also, have you maybe considered that the feds want Black people to show up to the protests? Because then they have an excuse to escalate the violence. Then they have an excuse to call them riots. We saw what happened with the peaceful protests in 2020 after George Floyd was killed by a policeman. Also, if you've been paying any attention at all, Black people have been showing up to support Latinos who are potentially being deported. Look at all the videos from Compton. Just type Compton in your search bar. So why don't we do this? Why don't we let Black people make their own decisions? Stop expecting them to be your personal avengers. Mobilize the Asians. I know that if I'm in front of a cop at a protest, he's gonna think twice about doing anything to me. He's not gonna give me the same grace as a white person, but he's definitely gonna give me more than he gives a Black person. And if you can't go to a protest, just fucking say something, especially if you live in California. Asians, I know there's a lot of you over there. I was born in the Bay Area, so I feel like I should say something. Anyway, yeah, mobilize the Asians. Stay safe out there.
These people, they had the audacity to ask for Black people to help them. It's like, what are you doing? They are asking Black people to come and participate in the protest. They're asking Black people to record when people get deported. The time to participate in democracy, it was November 5th. At this point, I don't think any Black people should just be exposing his or her body in protest or anything like that. You guys decided that you just guys gonna vote for the orange buffoon, so now you just take the consequences. Elections have consequences, so you're just gonna leave the consequences through it. Extremely sad the way they've been deporting some people. Okay, they're just getting it off their work, they're getting it off the school. It is just heartbreaking, but at the same time, the Latino community, the Asian community, I think Donald Trump had 10% more of the Asian community than what Biden have. My numbers can be incorrect, but if you know the correct number, you are welcome to correct me below, and I will make sure that I ping your numbers, because I'm not sure where was the number, but I know that this year the Asian community supported Trump more than what they did before. So yes, it's really sad. It is really sad, and I just thinking like it puzzled me how the Vietnamese people, okay, the ones that the United States went and made that country a freaking mess. Okay, we went and attacked that country. Okay, and how the Vietnamese can support dictators. Do you guys have the answer for that? Just comment below. What do you guys think? Why the Vietnamese are so into Donald Trump? Tell me in the comments below. What do you guys believe?
Americans so silent right now? That's because they didn't vote. Yes, they didn't vote because they didn't like Kamala from their internal misogyny or internal racism, and felt indifferent enough about the orange man so that they thought that a no vote was going to the orange man. The reason why they're not upset right now is because he voted for this. That's why. And that's not me excusing their behavior. I am a disabled person. I was advocating for Kamala before the election, so I had the chance to talk to a lot of my friends. They're not my friends anymore, but people in my life about how this election was going to affect me and people like me, and if they care about me, why they should vote for Kamala, and they still didn't care. They couldn't care less, because at the end of the day, it was all about taxes. Yeah, their tax break. The problem is Asians that have a level of wealth feel this closeness to white people because white people were the only ones that had that level of wealth for so long that they feel like they're getting a chance to be part of the white club, but they're not. And if I could give an insight into maybe why Asians are like this, it's because a lot of our parents and like even my generation as a millennial, we have seen our mother countries very impoverished. Like for me, I'm Korean, so I know South Korea's history. Like South Korea was fully bankrupt in the 80s and saw their first economic boom in the 2000s. It hasn't been that long, and they're in like the top 20 GDP in the world now. That level of wealth growth, normal citizens see that and think, oh my god, if I'm just smart enough and if I invest correctly, I can also get there. And if you look at South Korea, it's an oligarchy. That country is ran by like 3 families, and the main one is the Samsung family. And they have so many scandals. They have done some bad stuff, and the country just lets them get away with it. And if you look at the election turnout, it shows that South Koreans are starting to wake up to the state of like, oh, we're an oligarchy. But Korean Americans, look at the past of Korea, see that you can still succeed, feel like there's a privilege of being in America, utilize the model minority method, and then try to enter the 1%.
All the Asians, the thousands of Asians in LA either wanting to be an influencer in TikTok or are influencers on TikTok that have hundreds or tens of thousands or millions of followers. Like, you can't put down your matcha for like literally 2 seconds and speak out about what's happening right now. I go on TikTok, it's the same 4 like wonderful activist Asians on here, but then everybody else just still, regularly scheduled program, my outfit of the day, going to another Korean barbecue restaurant. Like, the restaurant you're at is built on immigrants. This entire city is built on immigrants. Like, you went to UC Irvine, you got your marketing degree. I'm sure you took 1 humanities class, honey. Like, I promise you, if you just don't post 1 TikTok dance and you take 30 seconds to speak on children getting ripped away from an elementary school graduation, people being locked in the basement of federal buildings without food or water, the National Guard being deployed on your city. Like, I know that, like, shame doesn't work on you. Like, nothing works on you because you had to create this shell. But, like, your $600 post that you're making for tummy tea is not going to save you here. You're scared of, like, oh, your brand getting tainted, or, like, you won't be able to get brand deals. Like, with the rate that information suppression is going, like, you won't have TikTok to sell your boba flavored protein powder on here. Like, you won't have the time, you won't have the platform to do so. Like, your parents or your grandparents came here for a better life, and then now that you have a better life, you've already forgotten the context as to which you exist in this realm. What is happening needs to be stood up against. Like, you are the people that are populating the Capitol right now.
Trump said he was out to get migrant criminals, gang members, people that are taking the jobs. But ICE is waiting non-criminals, family men and women who just put their head down and work. The kind of work that nobody else wants to do. It's like below minimum wage. The kind of work that has them working around the clock, that doesn't allow them any extra hours to go to English classes because they're providing for their families. But not only that, it's the kind of work that Los Angeles is built on, that everyone living in Los Angeles benefits from. And you call people that are talking about these issues trying to earn pity points? They criticize a criminal president who shouldn't even be president?
I hope you keep those opinions to yourself because it's embarrassing. That's all it is.
I mean, I wish you had taken your own advice, because to be talking like that as this is happening, that is a depraved form of humanity. What Korean church we going to? Not to mention the legal citizens that are getting swept up, catching strays for Trump's mass deportation agenda. Did they send you a plaque that said our model minority? Is it hanging in your wall?
So many people asking Asian creators to speak up about the whole riots in LA and all these deportation things. What is there to say? We support the deportations of illegals.
Sir, you look like the immigration issue you're ranting about. So the projection is wild because you look very illegal.
Asian people are really dependent on, migrant labor.
The loss of immigrants has the potential for a full economic collapse because of significant GDP reduction, labor shortages, increased prices, reduced consumer spending and demand, and billions lost in tax revenue. An economic collapse affects everyone. Immigrants make this country thrive.
This presidency promised that they would deport illegal immigrants. They're doing that. Why are you crying? You see it like these immigrants are waving the flags of other countries, burning down the flag of the U.S., and then you think Asian people want to support that? No, they want to stay away from that. They don't want to be grouped in with these people. Asian people don't want to focus on the negativity and say what they're really thinking. Deport illegal immigrants.
He is the embodiment of the model minority, which was created to pit Asians against other marginalized groups, rewarding obedience, silence, and hard work with crumbs of white approval. And he ate that up. Tap dancing for people who don't even want you here. No matter how hard you try to prove you hate yourself more than they ever could, and try so hard to distance yourself from the very people who fought for the rights that you now leech off of. You can grovel all you want for white validation, but you'll never earn validation from the same people who call you Kung flu and China virus. Remember that? Kung flu and China virus? You are not native. So how do you think it is that you were able to come to the United States? You think it was the whites who just kindly handed you an invite into our country out of the kindness of their heart? No, you got here because black and brown people, far braver than you, bled in the streets. The Immigration and Nationality Act of 1965 made it possible for you to live your American dream as the oppressor's lapdog. You're welcome. The people brave enough to fight out in the streets are the same people keeping you here. That fight going on right now is again a fight that you will benefit from just so that you can parade around like you earned those rights when you have never fought for anything in your weak little existence. Not your people, not your dignity, not even yourself. But be careful, because if they deport all of the people who fight for our rights, you might find yourself in an internment camp, because who's going to fight for you? You don't even fight for yourself.
So much. She always does. I don't know if she's just Mexican or she's Asian. I don't know what nationality she is, but I always like her commentaries in the videos because she's always right on point. She's like, okay, you just look like the person that they want to deport. What are you talking about? Don't forget the ICE is deporting American citizens because they don't look the right color, because they look Latinos, okay? And even when the American citizens are telling ICE, I am an American citizen, please don't take me because I'm an American citizen. ICE doesn't listen to them, and they still deport or arrest U.S. citizens and let them in the jails here in the United States, maybe in another country that we don't know, for months, okay? I was watching a clip, I think it was like a couple days ago, the house of Venezuelans that was sent to the prison in Salvador. The Venezuelan government rescued them because they did a swap of prisoners from the Salvador to Venezuela, and the conditions of abuse that those people encounter in those Salvadorian jail, it was just disgusting. I wanted to throw up. If it's any minor right now watching this video, what I'm gonna say, please make sure that he's not listening to this, because it's one of these people that they just took it to the Salvadorian jail, and he was gay, so he got raped. He got by the officers, not even for the people on the jail, by the officers, okay? He got raped by the officers. They did all kinds of things to him. It was like abuse. It made me want to throw up. And on the top of that, when they got there, they got hit. They hit them, they beat them up. It was just terrible. And they told them, you're just not going to get off from here until you just become 90 years old. And we're just talking that these people got sent there without due process. Because every time that I talk about the Trump deportations, the Republicans friends that I have, oh, what you gonna talk about Trump deportation? The person that deport more people is Obama. And yes, it's true. Obama deported a ton of people, a ton. But also in the same time, Obama signed the Dreamers, okay? The kids that were practically born in another country and been here since they were babies, and they didn't have the opportunity to legalize their situation. They got the opportunity to legalize their situation. It was like 2 million kids. And also, Obama did due process to all the people that got deported. He just then started to deport people and send it to another countries, like the Orange Buffon is doing right now. And I had to insert what did I say that about the Venezuelan government swapping the Salvadorians, people that was in the prison. Don't believe the Venezuelan government is that good. They're just doing it for propaganda. They are not really that good. They just don't really care whoever is there. If a Venezuelan citizen is in a Salvadorian jail, they just don't get a plot. But because they want to do propaganda, okay, in the country, so they just did that. Okay, they are not like they are good people. No, they are not. Okay, I just wanted to correct that.
Now, I'm seeing this question pop up a lot. Why is the Asian community so quiet? Now, I'm not speaking for all Asian people, but this is just my point of view. My family's from Laos. My parents spent years in refugee camps before being able to come here legally. So a lot of us from a very young age was taught accountability. You know, we were getting lectures after lectures after lectures on doing the right thing. Getting our ass beat for doing wrong things. So there are a lot of Asian people that are for deportations of, illegals. And not everybody, okay? Not all Asian people are for it, but I see most of us are. And we understand why you want to come here illegally and skip the process. People just want to live good lives, do better for themselves. But there is a right way of doing things. So if you do come here illegally and get caught, you need to take accountability for your actions. A lot of times if you see an Asian person get deported, we don't make a big fuss about it because, they got to take accountability for their actions. And they know that. We don't have hate towards law enforcement because, they're just doing their part. They're just doing their jobs because they didn't do their part. And we do feel terrible about, or at least I do feel terrible about, families being ripped apart.
Yeah.
But, they know the risk involved and they were willing to take that risk. Again, you got to take accountability. And a lot of people refer Asians as, model immigrants because, we are here to better ourselves, get an education, respect law and order. We just don't want any trouble. Like, we want peaceful lives. And so if we do get in trouble for something that we did, then we own up to it. That's it. So my heart does go out to the families of the deported. Hopefully they can find their way back, hopefully legal, so that they may, live peaceful lives.
Ajma here. Reading the news that there are potentially up to 150,000 Koreans in the U.S. That are vulnerable and potentially a target for deportation. And that includes adoptees. I would very much like off this timeline, but we're going to do what we can to be prepared and to be kind and to not panic. And no matter what, we shall be kind and we shall try to do our best to do everything that is right with the universe. The arc of justice is very, very long.
Imagine living in America, a so-called immigration nation, and needing to carry a passport just to buy some groceries. July 30th, Buffalo and Rochester, New York. Two Asian markets hit simultaneously by ICE, FBI, and AIS. Not just immigration check. We're talking about phone seized, payroll files confiscated, entire business shut down. Why? Because ICE suspect they hire undocumented workers. No conviction, no due process. 17 squad cars, and the whole store was shut down for just few people. There are customers in there, Asian, Latino, checked for IDs like suspects at a crime scene, some even taken away. Imagine you are just doing some grocery shopping, some military personnel storm in and you need to show them your passport. Only in World War II movies we see that. While the supermarket lawyer says all employees had proper document. This is not law enforcement. This is intimidation. It's collective punishment for looking foreign, and it's spreading from border town to a neighborhood grocery store. At this point, if you think citizenship will protect you, I think you are wrong. When your face is the only crime, what kind of system is that? I said this is about safety, but what kind of safety turning every immigrant into a target?
The U.S. deports 8 Asian criminals to South Sudan, and let me tell you why. The U.S. is basically blackmailing South Sudan's government because South Sudan has no choice but to take in these criminals, even if they don't want to. Recently, the U.S. Had a visa ban on South Sudan, and now South Sudan is trying to please the U.S. by allowing these criminals to come into the country. The U.S. has basically strong-armed South Sudan to, accept these criminals. They had no choice, and that's their whole plan from the beginning was to, accuse South Sudan of playing around with, deportees and whatever and not accepting them so that they have an excuse later on to, strong-arm a smaller country and basically force criminals on.
21 Indians were deported in one single day at airports in Atlanta, Chicago, and San Francisco. They had all attempted to enter on their F1 student visas, and at the airport through customs, they went through their WhatsApp, their personal belongings, and I guess there's some type of issue going on with the school or the visa scrutiny, but the CBP officers canceled all their visas, put 5-year ban, and deported them all back to India, all at different airports and different times. What happened here? Why were they issued all student visas at the embassies, but then they came to the US and at the airports they were canceled visas and deported back? It's important to know that these things happen. Just because you have a visa doesn't mean you're bulletproof. You still have to go through another layer of inspection at the airport, and CBP has a lot of power and they have a lot of leeway, and if they want to cancel your visa and send you back, they have the authority to do so.
For any Asian people who are selfish as fuck and are not standing in solidarity to Hispanic people over ICE immigration, just remember you're next and you are not that different from them. You know, all your excuses of it doesn't have anything to do with me, I mean, I'm legal and stuff, they don't care. You're gonna be targeted because keep in mind, you're not white. The system never will see you as white. They see you also as an immigrant. Guess what? After Hispanic people get deported, who's also going to be deported? Asian people. You're not safe from it. You're not white. They're not going to target white immigrants, and they can't target really black people because for a lot of reasons, honestly. So they're going to target you. You're not safe because you perpetuate racism towards other groups all the time. No, you are just as likely to be a target as any Hispanic person, honestly. Like, I fear you should care.
Did you hear about the 40,000 Chinese students that are going to be deported back to China? So in case you didn't know, for years, China has refused to take back all of their citizens that enter the United States illegally. And each one of those 40,000 individuals that I mentioned earlier had received deportation efforts, and China still refused to take them back. That meant that for years, thousands of Chinese nationals have been walking in the United States freely, even after receiving final deportation orders, because the Chinese government would not cooperate with retrieving their citizens. Now, this has been going on for way over a decade, and it made immigration deportation almost impossible to work with China. But this year, everything changed. After major pressure from the United States, the Chinese government finally caved, and they have officially agreed to take back Chinese citizens. And those deportation flights are starting to fill up. And because of this, over these months, 40,000 Chinese individuals that are Chinese citizens are finally being sent back to their homeland. They're Chinese citizens, but the media only wants us to focus on what's going on in El Salvador, what's going on in Venezuela. But deportation is not exclusive to Mexico. It's not inclusive to Ecuador. It's not exclusive to all of these nations.
Okay, first, the people that are deporting to Sudan. It doesn't make no sense that you deport a person, people to Sudan, when they had no roots in that country. But it's the orange bouffon thing. And I wanted to talk about the Asians. They are getting the Asians. They are getting deported, and their visas are getting canceling. Don't forget, these Asians. They are like the cream of the Chinese society. This is going to bring consequences over this country and over Trump, because it's not any kid. These kids, these 50,000 kids, they are in Harvard. They are in jail. They are in the best Ivy College of this country. And they just came as international students, and their visas are getting canceled. We're probably going to see some consequences for that. Not only the orange bouffon, because we're talking about the richest of the richest, the ones that have the companies on China. Those are the kids they are deporting, the owners of those companies, okay? They are the ones that are getting deported. And we're going to suffer the consequences of those kids, their visas getting suspended in multiple ways. Can be in raising of the prices. It can be in multiple things. Remember when he just say the tariff, or he say all these things that we just don't depend about China, all these things that he says, All the things, if you go around your house, I bet you 60% of the things that you have in your house, even your clothes, they all come from China. And we are talking that he suspended the visa to all the owners of the companies on those countries. So stay tuned for see what's going to happen with that. We just made it towards the end of this video. Please help us to support liberal media, subscribing to my channel, okay? And also, if you want to buy me a coffee, here I will leave you the information for you can buy me a coffee. Thank you so much for people that have been buying me coffees. Guys don't know how much I appreciate that. I'm like a kid in the candy store. Every time that I get coffee money, I'm like, I can go to Starbucks, or I can go to Dodge Bro. I don't go to Starbucks that often, so I'm more like Dodge Bro. I can go to Dodge Bro, or I can support my local coffee shop in here in Vegas.